Welcome to Inside the Firewall podcast, powered by CyberGlobal. Inside the Firewall goes beyond the headlines to uncover what it truly takes to protect businesses in today's fast-changing digital world. In each episode, we will bring you candid conversations with the CyberGlobal leadership team, security engineers, partners, and thought leaders who are shaping the future of cybersecurity today. From compliance and governance to real-world incident response, we'll show you how CyberGlobal's expertise and technology are helping organizations build stronger, safer, and more resilient foundations. Whether you're a business leader, IT professional, or simply curious about what's next in cybersecurity, you'll leave with insights and strategies you can put to work right away. Join us for this episode of Inside the Firewall, where innovation meets protection and the future of digital security comes to life. Here is your host, Justin Starbird.
Welcome back to Inside the Firewall, presented by CyberGlobal. My name is Justin Starbird, and today I get to welcome a good friend of mine, Ken Boyce, the CEO of CyberGlobal USA. Ken, great to have you, man.
Thank you, Justin. Thanks for the nice compliments, and I look forward to our session today.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much going on in this world of cybersecurity. Ken, talk a little bit about, your passion for this and how you ended up at CyberGlobal.
It's actually kind of a funny story because a year ago, I knew really nothing about cybersecurity. I'm a 30-year veteran in the franchise industry, and I sold my last franchise in 2016 and been having a consulting firm where I've worked with franchise companies and individuals helping to look at franchises. And kind of a strange event, just one morning or afternoon, I don't know exactly when it was, but Daniel, who is now my business partner, and Andre too, but Daniel had reached out to me on LinkedIn, of all things. And he said to me, he goes, Ken, he says, we're thinking about franchising CyberGlobal. And it looks like you have a lot of experience, which I have 30 years experience. So he said, can I pick your brain? And I said, I had my finger almost like on the delete button. You know how you get all those things from LinkedIn? Yeah. You're kind of like, whatever, I'm too busy for this, and all that. And I said, you know what? Why not? It doesn't hurt to chat, right? So, yeah. Well, make a long story short, you see where I'm at now. That chat turned into, really interesting, like this opportunity. There's no cybersecurity company that is franchising yet. And it ticked many of my other boxes of, a low investment, no real estate, low overhead, consulting type of service sure. When it came to doing the business. And, after a couple months of us going back and forth in due diligence, I ended up becoming a partner with CyberGlobal. So that's how I ended up landing here.
Wow. What's so interesting is, I've talked to Daniel and Andre on previous episodes, talk a little bit about the business, how they got started, operations. What's so fascinating to me is, to your point about the franchising model and how you connect those dots, because you don't think of, service provider and, managed service provider at that as something that you can franchise. When you were approached by it, I'm sure that got your wheels spinning. How did you turn that into something?
Well, I think most people don't understand franchising, first of all. And why should they? It's a very niche kind of, franchises is, to give you an idea, is like 35% of every dollar an American spends is on a franchise. So that's a lot.
Right.
But, most people don't understand really what franchising is about. And all it is, Justin, it's just another distribution channel. It's another way to sell services to customers. Now, you can sell them under, I call it the corporate America model. Okay. So you take a region, you put a sales manager in there or a regional manager, then you hire salespeople underneath and they go sell. Now, that's what every other cybersecurity company does in the world, is they sell directly to customers.
Sure.
Okay? And they do it under the corporate model. Well, under the franchise model, which separates us and makes us very different, is that our franchisees, like say Jared in Boston or Dan in Raleigh, they own a market. That's their market. So it's kind of like, if you're a salesperson, you have a territory and you do your sales in that. But these people own the business.
Yeah.
So for us, they become a partner, okay? Not an employee, not somebody that, is here today and gone tomorrow, as I like to say, and you got to replace all the time, but somebody that's solid there, somebody that has a vested interest. They've invested with us. They've invested in their own business and time. They're very devoted. So, our goal is to have 40 to 50 franchisees across the country. We have 14 now already. We only started franchising this year. So when we're finished franchising, if you want to call it that, we'll have 40 to 50 locations. And then we have a local person in every single market. And that basically fills up our distribution channel, if you want to call it. So instead of us going down the traditional corporate America avenue of hiring staff and all that, we have people that are vested and own their own business working with us. And they don't have to have all the technical skills of cybersecurity and all that. They're more of that manager, that development manager, that salesperson that works with their clients and gets client acquisition and client support. We do all the technical work for them. Yeah. So it's a great marriage. It works very well. It's just another way of doing things. That's what franchise is. It's just another way to sell services and that, except that instead of having a bunch of corporate employees, you have a model where people are investing their own money and have ownership within the franchise too. It's to me, look, I've done it 30 years. Yeah. Biased. Okay. If you want to call it, I'm drinking the Kool-Aid. Yeah. It works. It just works very well. And, I'm so excited to be, one of the things, my ego is, I don't really have an ego anymore, Justin. Both you and I have been in business a long time. That's been beat up and gone a long time ago. But, it's really cool, quite frankly, that I'm part of the first cybersecurity franchise ever. Kind of like the first hamburger franchise or McDonald's or something like that. So anyway, that's a little bit more of the structure, and it's the thing that I think differentiates us from other cybersecurity firms too.
Well, absolutely, and you don't know always what you're walking into. The cybersecurity is such a, it's a scary word, right? You're capitalizing on fear to a degree that somebody is going to, take over your computer or bring down your database or hack into your bank accounts. And, at the same time, though, it should be comforting, right? CyberGlobal is, providing a comforting, service to protect you against those things.
Right.
How do you wrestle with the difference between, selling on fear and selling on comfort, and really helping folks understand, what is truly at risk and what the consequences are?
Well, unfortunately, the press today does a really bad job in helping us, because they focus on all the bad events that happen, not the good events. And of course, that's the press, right? So that's what most people see in the public, is you see this person got hacked and this person lost all this money and this person got their company shut down. And 60% of companies that have a major cybersecurity attack, this is awful. Yeah, 60% of those businesses go out of business because of it. So it is a serious threat. But we don't want to get in front of clients and scare the heck out of them and saying that you have to do that. I think the way that we like to position it with clients is to make comparisons to other industries. We are in risk and compliance. That's what we do. We're protecting your company, and you're also complying with regulations that you have to abide by in the government, whatever industry you're in. And there's all kinds of industries that you have to be cybersecurity proof or certified, if you want to call it that, right? So, you compare it to, say, an accountant. What does an accountant do? Well, really, if you have just a beer with an accountant and all that, with a company, they're protecting them from the IRS and not protecting them from doing bad things. They're just being compliant. You do this, you fill out this paperwork, you do all this, and then guess what? You don't have any risk because you've done all the right paperwork. It's the same thing when you go to an attorney. It's risk and compliance. It's what's my risk? Am I compliant? So really, that's what cybersecurity really is. That's the best way to explain it to somebody that goes, well, what's the cybersecurity? What do I need? Of course, nobody knows what it is. We like to just make it very simple and just say, listen, it's all about risk and compliance and keeping you safe from cyber criminals. And most people then get it and go, okay, now, of course, they want to get into, well, what do I need? What do I need to protect? Well, that's our service, and we educate you first. So it's very much of a consultative type of initial meeting, I guess. We got to learn more about you. We got to learn more about our services. What do you need, and more importantly, what don't you need, right?
Yeah.
So, and then giving them a guidance of, now you have a protection barrier from cyber criminals. Now, just like anybody else in life, you're never 100% protected. Okay, it doesn't matter. You could have a security home system in your home, okay, but somebody can still
guys are going to do bad things.
Somebody's going to do bad things. They're going to find a way to do it. What you want to do is create the least amount of pain or damage to your company to do it. And more importantly, catch them in the act or very quickly where they can't create damage. So that's when we go to people and go, listen, don't panic. But what's sad is, here's what we hear all the time. Not all the time, but a lot of the time, Justin. Nobody's going to hack me. Nobody knows who I am.
Right.
Wow. Now that's where maybe you have to instill a little bit of fear in them to go, no, AI has opened the doors for cyber criminals to be, oh my God, so much more dangerous than they were 1, 2, 3, 4 years ago. Yeah. Now, instead of them trying to attack one company at a time, they can attack 1 million companies at one time now, because it doesn't cost them anymore to do it by using AI. So what that does is what happened in the past is cyber criminals would try to attack the bigger companies, the Fortune 500, because they would pay the ransomware, they would pay all the money and all that. Not anymore. Now, that's why we're focusing more on the small to medium-sized businesses, because in the next year, 2, 3, 4, 5 years, that's where all the stories are going to come from now, is these smaller companies. So maybe they're not, the cyber criminals aren't asking for $1 million ransom. Maybe they're asking for 10 grand or 50 grand or 100, a lot less, but now they can tax so many more companies. So, the world's not going to fall apart. Okay. But these people that say, nobody's going to attack me. I'm not big enough. They get a rude awakening. That's going to happen to them.
Yeah. One of the things, going back to the franchise model for just a moment,
Sure.
And talking about the hamburger, if you have, the hamburger in Portland, Maine or Sarasota, Florida, it's going to be the same based on the franchise, because you're getting the same ingredients. One of the things I think that is so fascinating is that, your technical salesperson, in a territory may not be as proficient as somebody else, but you're still getting the opportunity to have the same service. And I think, that is so unique too. And then back to your more recent point about, supporting those, small to medium sized companies, because that's really what you're doing. You're not just protecting them, you're supporting them.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, like I said, most of them don't know this is an essential that they have to put on their expense. Yes, it is. It's an expense for the company. Nobody likes that. But it's a necessity now. It's not an option anymore where people go, well, it's like I'm not going to take insurance out of my car. Okay. Well, if you get in an accident, it's going to be very, very costly, right?
Right. They're coming after you. Right.
It's all an educational part. That's a great part about our business right now, is that, how people throw numbers around in industries and all that. Like, I think our number right now is like $250 billion worldwide in what people are spending on cybersecurity. By the way, I can tell you that the cyber criminals are making more money than the industry.
Yeah.
That's pretty scary, isn't it? They're actually making more money than the whole industry. That, I think, says everything. But in the next 5 years, they're looking at our industry as at least doubling, in the sense of, for the opportunity. Now, we look at ourselves as the ethical hackers, right? We're protecting companies. We look at we're doing good. We're protecting this. This goes back to, cops and robbers, cowboys, robbing bank, like back in the 1800s. It doesn't matter. Thousands of years ago, it's that, unfortunately, there's always going to be bad actors. There's going to be thieves, no matter where it is.
Yeah.
Right. And, this is our business, right?
So how do you stay ahead? I mean, you mentioned AI, of course, that's everywhere. In the last 6 to 18 months, the ability and what things can do, and from a threat actor standpoint has increased exponentially. What do you and what is the company continuing to do to stay ahead?
That's a great question. We engage probably much more than any other cybersecurity company in utilizing AI. And I'm not talking about ChatGPT. ChatGPT is great. I think all of us use it and all that. We've built our internal AI engine that we utilize. And what does that do to help our customers? Well, it really helps us to lower our costs or keep our costs down, right?
Mhm.
So if you actually go into ChatGPT or any Gronk or anything like that, and you ask, ask them, will AI eliminate cybersecurity? And it'll say, no, it won't. But what it will do, it'll eliminate the mundane jobs, the basic jobs that that AI can do.
Yeah.
But taking away our consulting services and how we help companies stay away from these cyber criminals, and things change, like you said, on ongoing basis. We see those attacks, we see those threats, we see how the cyber criminals are becoming smarter. Well, once we see how they're becoming smarter, we adapt to, okay, we need to protect this now, protect this. It's a game. It's a
Yeah.
game. The cyber criminals are always want to get one. You ever had an analogy before is that, those robbers and those bad people are like, the cops are always one step behind, right?
Right.
You hear that before?
Yeah.
They're always one step behind. We don't care about them. Well, that's how cyber criminals think, but we're not the cops. We're keeping up pace with them and that. And this is all we do. We don't offer any other services. We offer 40 plus cybersecurity services. This is all we do and focus on. So that history, that knowledge, that expertise that we acquire is what our clients can depend on when we get in front of them to say, this is why you should be using CyberGlobal.
Yeah. Yeah, thinking about all these, I'm going to call them opportunities, right? Because wherever there are challenges, and you're speaking to several challenges, there are opportunities, right? And
Right.
you're in a really unique spot to be able to do that. Of course, from the franchising model and the ability to expand in such a unique way. Talk a little bit about those opportunities and what that means for both your customers and also your franchisees, and then potential franchisees.
Wow, what a great question. Do you have 2 hours?
Yeah. There's no time limit to this show today.
Okay, well, literally, you're asking me a 2-hour question, but
Yeah.
I get your point. I think if I could outline the greatest opportunity for CyberGlobal, this is what it really boils down to: is every company grows. How does a company grow? By getting new clients,
Yeah.
right? That's always the hardest thing in business, is getting new clients. Of course, keeping them, but let's just say breaking down I'm pointing at my door here, breaking down that door and getting new clients. That's always the hardest part. Acquisition cost, people, time, sales process. I mean, it's painful. It's painful to go directly to clients. Okay. We're doing something no other cybersecurity company is doing. Zero. Well, I'll take it back. There's a couple small ones that are kind of doing our partnership model, but nothing on the scale that we're doing as a company. We have focused, and this is what we've done for the last 8 years. So this is nothing new for us. We've been working with resellers, with IT companies that resell our services to their clients, right? So now with our franchisees, here's where the real opportunity lies for us to go from here to here in a very short period of time. Very, very short period of time to accumulate a lot more clients than we would with the traditional model going directly, is the partnership model. So you should think of us as CyberGlobal is the cybersecurity partnership network. I'll say that again, the cybersecurity partnership network. Well, what does that mean? Our franchisees, they're not focusing all their day banging on those doors, trying to go to those companies directly, going, I can sell you cybersecurity services. I can sell you cybersecurity services, right? Those companies, they get tired of hearing that, okay? What we have done is we're going to build a different distribution network. Well, we've already done it doing franchising, right? Not the traditional corporate one. We're going to take it to another step. Let's say you're an accountant and you have 100 clients, okay? And I approach you and I go, listen, your clients need our services, right? But typically they don't know who to go to, or maybe they have an incumbent and they're not getting the right service. But I'll tell you what, Justin, you're an accountant. How many clients do you have over the last 10 years? And let's say you have 100 clients. Okay. Well, I'll tell you what, why don't you refer us to your clients and I'll share part of our revenue with you. So now that, and by the way, there's other companies that do this like ADP. So we're kind of emulating a little bit of their process and how they go and get new clients too. So now, but why is that important to us? Well, one is that a referral is always 10 times better than trying to go directly to a client because it's trust. Our whole business is based on trust and relationship. Now, if you're the accountant and we decide to partner together, and then you walk me into the offices, not literally, figuratively, but you introduce me to your clients, and I walk in, then and your client, probably calls you and says, "Who's this Ken guy from CyberGlobal?" He called me. He said you offer cybersecurity services. You recommended me and all that. He says, "Yeah, they do a wonderful job. I know you need cybersecurity work. I don't, you as the accountant say, I don't care if you use CyberGlobal or not, but we use them."
Yeah.
Oh, you do? Really? Oh, so the trust goes from here to here. Okay.
Sure.
So you have 50 franchisees that are going up and signing multiple partnerships every month. So when you look at the dots on the map, you're getting all this distribution going out. Now, instead of fishing with a single hook and trying to get one customer at a time, which is what every other cybersecurity company does, is trying to get one client at a time, I go in and let's say, for instance, I'm a franchisee and I sign up 25 partners this year that all have 100 clients. Well, now I have a 2,500 client captive market where somebody's opening up the door and introducing me in there as a referral, and the trust relationship goes from there way up. So instead of us fishing with a single hook, I compare it to we're fishing with a net. And that just means we're going to get exposed to more potential clients, which means we're going to close more business and have more clients because of that. And by the way, what I told before, the expense of our acquisition cost goes way down. The timing in the sales cycle goes a lot shorter. And we're able to go in and get in front of it and get more clients a lot faster than the traditional model of, what people are doing in our industry. So I think that's the greatest opportunity. And when I talk to potential people that want to be a franchisee and want to work with us and see the opportunity, I mean, they're like, here's what I hear from everybody. Well, that just makes common sense. And I go, thank you, because it's just common sense. Everybody knows if you want to get into a country club, I'm a golfer. Okay. If I want to get into an exclusive country club, I'm not going to go and sign an application up and hand it at the front desk because you're not going to get in. No. You got to know somebody. You got to go say, "Oh, do I know Fred? Oh, Fred, hey, can you vouch for me? Can you get me into the country club?" Yeah. Same thing. You're the accountant. You're their buddy in the country club. Get me in front of your client. But the nice part is it's a win-win scenario for everybody. The accountant's client wins because they get the cybersecurity services they need. The accountant wins because they get some more revenue, and of course we win because we're getting more clients. Now, accountants, our partnerships network will just not be accountants. It could be attorneys. It could be I would say digital marketing firms. It could be lawyers. Anybody that has a large client base, we can literally partner with them because they don't have to do anything. They just need the intro, and then we go do all the work. Yeah, that's where I see us going, exploding with clients. It's kind of like that. It takes a little time to get that ball going. It's like a snowball, but once it starts to catch and catch and catch, wow! Try doing that going directly to clients in a traditional model. Good luck. It's not going to work.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like a little remiss at asking this next one, but we'll end on this. What are you most excited about? There's a lot going on with CyberGlobal right now. We're about to enter Q4. We're launching this podcast, which is very exciting to get the voice of the team and experts that are in the industry. But what are you most excited about?
I'm most excited right now is I have a much more sense of calm than excitement right now. A franchise is all about experience, knowledge, and expertise, right? That's what, if you would go to McDonald's, you don't tell them how to do anything, right? They just tell you what to do, how to do it, when to do it. And if you don't follow it, now they're a little bit more stringent than say us, but they have a whole proven process that's there. Okay. Right. We're there. Okay. So what I'm most excited about now is a couple things. There's a lot, but a few major ones. is getting to that 50 franchisee mark as fast as possible. We're at 14. By the end of next year, I think we'll get there very, very well. So the focus is, okay, fill in all the different major markets in the US and finding the right people to be able to do that. Secondly, is that everything else we've tested, beta tested, put it in place, just like a franchise should do. Now it's just what I like to relate to it. It's the gasoline on the fire.
Yeah,
we've got this nice little, really good fire going actually, but we're going to make it into a huge bonfire now. And we're going for our first capital raise coming in September, or first week of probably today's September 12th. So next couple weeks, maybe in October. So we're gonna go and get some more capital to put some more gasoline on that fire. There will be challenges like any other company with expansion and all that. But I have such a sense of calm now, because it's okay, we know what to do, how to do it, when to do it, where to go. Everything's in place to do it. It's time to put the gasoline on the fire. And what I'm most excited about is to see the growth of everything in our business. We're a people business. We're not a tech business. Yes, we offer cybersecurity services. You're like, what? You're a tech business? No, we're not. This is a people business. Whether it's our employees, our partners, our franchisees,
the good thing is you can say that because you have the technology behind you to become the people business, right?
Yes, you're correct. Absolutely. Thanks for bringing that up too. We do. We have. Daniel and Andre have 15 years experience in cybersecurity. They've been doing this literally, since they were teenagers, right? So they have that. We have all this experience, knowledge, and expertise on the technical side. Yes. And now what we're doing is we're doing it on the distribution, on the sales, on the marketing side. So all the pieces of the puzzle are together now. So what I'm excited about is that, because you know what? That's the hardest part, okay, is putting all those pieces of the puzzle together. Now it's just, okay, now we just got to start pouring that gasoline on the fire we have. And we've got great people, great team. The market is, there's so much market out there. If we just got like a little tiny bit of that marketplace, CyberGlobal is going to be a tremendous success.
Yeah. Well, Ken, I really appreciate you sharing your insights, your expertise, and your experience on this. It's really neat to hear the different perspectives of, of course, Daniel and Andre, but also, hear why you joined and why the mission was so important to you. So thank you for sharing today.
Yeah, it's been my pleasure. Thanks so much, Justin.
On behalf of my guest today, CEO of CyberGlobal USA, Ken Boyce, you've been listening to Inside the Firewall. Until next time. On behalf of our host and our guest today, thank you for listening to the latest episode of Inside the Firewall, powered by CyberGlobal. To hear more episodes or learn more, visit us online at the link below or via our social media channels.